Hurricane Katrina made landfall in southern Mississippi on Friday, August 29, 2005, causing the worst natural disaster in United States history at that time. 120-mile-per-hour winds and a storm surge nearing 30 feet resulted in the confirmed deaths of 238 people, with 67 recorded as missing. Insured economic losses totaled more than $13.6 billion, excluding flood damage, and more than 60% of housing stock was lost. However, more devastating than these losses was the devastatingly poor response of government leaders and agencies that were responsible for the care and recovery of Katrina's most vulnerable survivors, who were residents of predominantly Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. This commemoration at the Gulfside Assembly, a sacred, safe space that was lost during Katrina, aims to memorialize the community's losses, honor its survivors and heroes, and chart a course for community resilience and resistance so that we never experience such devastating losses ever again.
I must begin by respectfully acknowledging and honoring the Choctaw Indian Nation, the original inhabitants of this space. The Choctaw Indians skillfully adapted and lived in harmony with the world around them. The Choctaw were forced from this land by the Indian Removal Act, signed by Andrew Jackson in 1830. Gulfside Assembly was founded by Bishop Robert Elijah Jones, the first African-American bishop of the Methodist Episcopal Church, in 1923. He purchased this property of 300 acres for $4,000. This property was originally owned by a nephew of Andrew Jackson. Gulfside was established on the Chautauqua principles of faith, education, culture, and recreation. Today, Gulfside continues to be an advocate for the underserved, not just here in Waveland, but throughout the region.
I was moved by the faith leaders. Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Muslim, and Unity. They came with their loving and passionate hearts, and I could feel that carrying energy in the room as they addressed the needs of the most vulnerable.
And it was people from all over the country coming here to help us out. All colors, all faiths.
Now, God, as a people of faith, we are called into covenant with one another. Your covenant of faithfulness and love extends to the whole creation.
I began to be immersed with the research of learning not only about Gulfside, which this is a historic landmark for the United Methodist Church as of 1980.
And here we are, 20 years later. Many of us have rebuilt from the impossible.
We saw helicopters going around up in the air and everything. No one stopped to help us.
By understanding the past, we can make informed decisions about the future.
And I thank God for the people that came and helped us recover after Hurricane Katrina.
It did bring people together because it hit everybody. Regardless of your faith tradition, your economic status, it didn't matter. Everybody got that.
Behold, how good and pleasant it is when we come together in unity.
We are united. We are powerful. What we're doing here, gathering to remember, reflect, and envision, are the little things, the small, persistent, unrelenting, ordinary acts that will help to prevent disasters from becoming tragedies in the days to come. May we rise up and bloom beautifully, boldly, brilliantly.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! The storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. The
What is a People's Movement Assembly? A People's Movement Assembly, also known as a PMA, is a gathering of various social movement organizations and individuals who meet to collectively identify problems, brainstorm solutions, and decide on actions to govern themselves and achieve shared goals. Unlike other forms of assemblies, a PMA is a dynamic and inclusive convergence of social forces that fosters collective critical thinking, leading to organic synthesis of ideas and commitments for community action and power building. Source: Project South.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Jonathan Green. I'm Executive Director of the Stuff Coalition. How has your recovery been after Katrina?
You're allowed to take up space. Because you're allowed to be. You're allowed to take up space. This is what it feels like to take up space in community. You make room for each other. Can you feel the person next to you?
And it's something I've never really thought about until we got to this moment in time, 20 years later.
We all carry this trauma with us. So this space is for us to reflect and then figure out a plan going forward so that we don't feel like we felt in those days after Katrina.
We saw the storm coming. We saw it go from a Category 1 to a Category 5, and we knew it was going to be something serious.
Our home was still standing, and the church was still standing. But when we got to Gulfside, there was nothing left. My sister and I, we parked here, and we walked all the way to the back, and we just stood in the middle of the grounds and just cried.
You should feel like there's a string connecting you to the sky. Breathe that in. You're allowed to be tall. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Let it go. You're allowed to feel your feelings. You should know your feelings.
Optimistic.
Blessed.
Joyful. We no longer let our car's gas tank go beyond half.
These are the stories of Katrina survivors and heroes in their own words.
I left prior to the storm hitting. Upon my return, I seen the destruction with my own eyes.
One of the most challenging moments I remember was just coming back to the Gulf Coast and seeing the devastation. I mean, it was pretty terrible. All of the vegetation was dead.
What I remember most is packing up the kids and my father-in-law and the goldfish and driving to Jackson. We didn't know what happened to our home. We were just so relieved to see that our house was still standing.
He could barely get into the front door because there was so much debris.
My sister and my brother-in-law had moved to Atlanta a few years prior, and so they were gracious to open up their home. And within a matter of a few days, we probably had 21 people in the house.
The National Guard who were housed in our hospital, they spoke with us saying that we have a certain amount of time to come up with a plan because we expect to have water up to 2 floors in the hospital.
I was sitting in my house, listening to the news. I told my husband, this hurricane is coming our way. I guess about 7 o'clock that morning, I saw this water. I got up and looked out the door. I said, the ditch is not even full of water, so where's this water coming from? And by the time I said that, it started coming down the fireplace. And I screamed and told him, I said, if water is coming in his house. So he jumped out of the bed. And by that time, the back door hit my back door and the water just burst in on us, hit me in the chest. I told my grandson, I said, run, Trey. So we went to our attic. We have a ladder. So we pulled the ladder down and got in the attic.